I was telling them that, look, they appeared and the matter is now set for June 25th, 27th, and 28th for trial before the acting chief magistrate. And I said last week that I would have told you about the reservation that I had. And I did not mention it. And the reason why I did not mention it, and it's not making an excuse, the reason why I did mention it, because I did not go into the substantive issue, right? So I'm going to deal with that now. And I'm going to be able to tell you now what reservation that I have, not that I still have. Now, I refer here now to a statement by the Judicial Service Commission of Guyana. Last week, the Judicial Service Commission made a release, and I'm going to read the release. I don't think it's all that long, and then I'm going to go into it. It says, for immediate release, and this was, I think, around the 7th or something like that. The Judicial Service Commission has noted with grave concern an article published in the Guyana Times newspaper. No, but matter of fact, I have it here to show you. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it, but I'm going to read what is it. If you can read, you will follow with me. Let me start over. The Judicial Service Commission has noted with grave concern an article published in the Guyana Times newspaper on the 25th of April, 2024, on which bore the caption, Chief Magistrate among 10 recommended as puisne judges. The Judicial Service Commission readily acknowledges that newspapers are in the business of disseminating news. It is, however, with the information conveyed to the Guyana Times by, quote, a reliable source, unquote, that the Judicial Service Commission experiences is disgust and disquiet and disgust. The Guyana Times, by its candid disclosure that the information in the published article was based on what was provided to it by a, quote, a reliable source, unquote, indisputably conveyed to its readers the unofficial nature of the information it received from this reliable source. The Commission has interviewed a number of persons seeking to be appointed as judges of the High Court with consequential deliberations thereon. A number of processes are to follow, including a referral to the eventual recommendation of the Commission to His Excellency, the President. The Commission has not yet given any official press release in connection with its present role on judicial appointments to any media house, considering that it would be precipitate to do so. This marks the second occasion that the present Commission is faced with the unofficial and unauthorized divulgence of information related to its work, such a circumstance being hitherto unknown. The Judicial Service Commission is left in no doubt that the Guyana Times reliable source lacks any ethical disposition and has treated the Commission with grave disrespect and contempt. The Commission therefore seizes on the moment to condemn in the harshest way possible the role of the Guyana Times reliable source, and to urge caution by Guyana Times and other entities similarly inclined. The Commission also urges that only official releases from the Commission should be published. The Judicial Service Commission wishes to assure all media sources that it remains open to queries and to provide responses on its constitutional functions. That is the release from the Judicial Service Commission. But why find out? And they're referring to an article published in the Guyana Times on the 25th of April. I'm not going to go back into it, but they get a name, Chief Magistrate among 10 recommended as puisne judges. Well, you know what I find disturbing? And I'm not well, let me tell you, the Judicial Service Commission call out the Guyana Times. I'm not here to represent the Guyana Times. I am not here to represent the Guyana Times, which is a mouthpiece of the ruling PPP government. I'm not here to represent them. But I find it strange that the Judicial Service Commission will call out Guyana Times when the Attorney General, Anil Nandalal, SC, MP, did the same thing. And let me go on April the 30th. On April the 30th at 7:01 p.m. on Issues in the News. This is a program hosted by the Attorney General on NCN. I think it's on Tuesday nights. And hear what he said on that night. So On the 25th, Guyana Times carried this news item, quite inappropriate, I believe. That's some reliable source gave it to them. And they called them, but on the 30th, Anil Nandalal, the Attorney General, and I'm going to quote him here now, on Issues in the News. It says, Issues in the News, the Honorable Attorney General Anil Nandalal, SCMP, said, and quote, the JSC recommended these appointments to be made by His Excellency the President. These persons will be appointed and will be sworn in as judges shortly. The names are one High Court judge from the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, but Guyanese, Madam Justice Jacqueline Josiah Graham. Commissioners of Title Nicola Pierre and Priscilla Chandan Anif. Magistrate Shardel Isaacs Marcus, Peter Yu, Zamila Ali Sipasad. Head GRA Legal Department and Deputy Commissioner of the GRA, Ehsan Yassin. GRA Deputy Commissioner Inland Revenue and International Taxation Lawyer Joy Prasad. Deputy Solicitor General Deborah Kumar, and Secretary and Deputy CEO of the Guyana of GWI, Nigel Niles. These are the 10 persons who will assume the post of High Court judges shortly. End of quote. That is Anil Nandalal. So the JSC, Judicial Service Commission, I have to find out, I need to know why you're going to call out the Guyana Times. And again, I say I'm not representing the Guyana Times, but you did not call out the Attorney General. You call out Guyana Times, but you call out Attorney General. And this release was made to the public after, quite logically, after the article by Guyana Times and after the broadcast by the Attorney General and NCN. So wait, tell me you did not see that? If you're going to call out Guyana Times, why did you not call out the Attorney General at the same time? And let me go some more to tell you, the Judicial Service Commission, because I did the research, you know. The Judicial Service Commission is comprised of, they have 3 ex officio members of the Judicial Service Commission. And ex officio means by virtue of their office. So the Chancellor or the acting Chancellor, Madam Yonette Cummins Edwards, she is a member of the Judicial Service Commission. The other person, ex officio, acting Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire. And the third ex officio person, again I say by virtue of the office, is the chairman of the Public Service Commission, Maniram Prasad. The other 2 members of the Judicial Service Commission are former acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Carl Singh, and retired Justice Bisraj Singh, we know Bisraj Singh Roy, B.S. Roy. So those are the 5 members of the Judicial Service Commission. And you know, again, doing the research, this is the article I'm reading here from Stabrook News, July the 15th, 2023. And in one paragraph, it says, the Judicial Service Commission's remit includes the power to make appointments, to remove and to exercise disciplinary control over persons holding or acting within the offices of Commissioners of Title, Director of Public Prosecutions, Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Magistrate, Registrar of the High Court, Deputy Registrar of the High Court, Registrar of the Deeds, and Deputy Registrar of Deeds, among others. Now, when I read that, I was taken aback because, to be truthful, I never realized that the Judicial Service Commission, among its remits, is to make appointment and to remove persons in those offices, especially I did not know that about the DPP. So, you know, as a good teacher, I did my research, and yes, I found it in Article 199 of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. So the question I want to ask is, why have we not, well, I don't know, what is the process for action to be taken against the DPP? I don't know how this thing is initiated. If somebody got to make a complaint to the Judicial Service Commission, some lawyer, maybe someone of the lawyers can advise me, because I think it's time that the conduct of the current DPP, Shalimar Aliat SC, be brought to the attention formally of the Judicial Service Commission, because it says under Article 199 that they have the remit to disciplinary control over persons holding or acting within the offices of many, including the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions. That was a revelation to me, and I did the research, and I found the Article 199. So I don't know how you initiate the process, but I'm saying that the time has come. The time has come for something to be done about the DPP. We're going to talk more about that as we go on. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to talk. And Mr. Conway, again, I don't want them to label me as presumptuous, right? I'm not going to attack the Judicial Service Commission. I'm not going to attack the judges, but I'm saying that if you are going to call out Guyana Times, I'm not representing Guyana Times, for leaking this information. The Attorney General did likewise. The Guyana Times did it on the 25th of April, and the Attorney General did it on the 30th of April, right? On national television. So why not call out? And your release is about a week later. Why not call out both at the same time? Do you have any answer to that, my wise brother?
If we're gonna label you presumptuous, you got a right to be presumptuous, But there's animal farm at play. All men are equal, but some are more equal than others. Here it is that you're calling out the Times, and here it is the Attorney General making the statement, releasing the same information. And this is not the first time. Remember the CCJ, I had to call him out, that they brought disrepute to the CCJ by releasing a decision of the CCJ before the time. And then he like Shaggy, it wasn't me. He said, and as his unnamed IT administrator release it. His unnamed IT administrator release it. But coming to the point with the Constitution, I myself did not think that, although I read the Constitution. But here it is what I got. Is Article 199. One says the power to make appointments to the offices to which the article applies, and to remove and to exercise disciplinary control over persons holding and acting in such office shall vest with the Judicial Service Commission. And here's what Tree saying. The article applies to the office of the Commissioner of Title, Magistrate, Director of Public Prosecutions, Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, Registrar of the High Court, Deputy Registrar of the High Court, Registrar of Deeds, Deputy Registrar of Deeds, and to such other offices, not being offices in respect of which provisions for the making of appointments is made by any provision of the Constitution other than Article 201, connected with the courts of Guyana, or for appointment of which legal qualifications are required as may be prescribed by Parliament. And unlike you, Paul, I'm not certain what we have to do to trigger action against the DPP. But it's high time that the DPP must come into focus, that the DPP has been making many decisions which, to my mind, they are political and has no legal base. Time that we put the DPP before the Judicial Service Commission. And I'm going back to the point I make earlier. Yes, the Times can be called out, but the Attorney General can be called out for making a release that was not clear by the Judicial Service Commission. Animal Farm, all men are equal, but some are more equal than others.
Again, it shows that, again, I say the Judicial Service Commission is made up of what I consider some very reputable persons. Let me repeat who those persons on the Judicial Service Commission are: the acting chancellor, the acting chief justice, the chairman of the Public Service Commission, former chancellor of the acting chancellor, Mr. Carlson, and former appeal court judge B.S. Singh Roy. And I'm saying, if this, well, let me make it clear that given the process outlined, where the Judicial Service Commission would interview those persons, and then they're saying that the recommendation will be sent to the president. It means, therefore, we can't blame the Judicial Service Commission for the leak. We cannot, because they would have sent it on to the president, and therefore it could have been leaked from there too. But what I am disappointed in the Judicial Service Commission about is in that release that I read earlier, they did not also call out the Attorney General, and therefore it gives the impression that the Judicial Service Commission is giving preference, is favoring the Attorney General. That is the impression that I got. So the Judicial Services could have said at the same time, Guyana Times and the Attorney General, because I would have thought that 5 days after Guyana Times made this release, this unofficial release, that by then the Judicial Service Commission or whoever is making this release on behalf of the Judicial Service Commission would have had that information, or should have had that information, and therefore make a release including all of those. And before I forget again this week, I talk about the reservation I had, and in respect to my case, and that is what basically it is, because in this release, it says that the acting chief magistrate is tipped to be one of the new judges. And according to what the Attorney General says, that these appointments are to be made shortly. That is what he said. Let me read back. Let me see what he said. These appointments are to be made shortly. That is what he said. He said here, the Judicial Service Commission recommended these appointments to be made by His Excellency the President. These persons will be appointed and will be sworn in as judges shortly. He said that on the 30th of April. And the reservation that I have is that if the acting chief magistrate, before whom I'm supposed to appear for this trial on the 25th, 27th, and the 28th of June, if she is sworn in as a judge before then, in keeping with what the Attorney General said, it means that I go up and hold me, loose me again. It means that some other magistrate will have to be assigned to try this case. And that is the reservation. It wasn't anything to be disrespectful or anything like that. It's just to say, and again, you know, as a man who not talk about management and planning, from the time I saw that, I started to calculate, because if this appointment is made between now and the 25th of June, it means that we are back to square one, where the matters have to be now reassigned to some magistrate. So it's kicking down the road all the time. So the persons who reached out to me after the program on Wednesday to say I did not disclose what the reservation is about, it is that. Nothing disrespectful or so, but it's just some logical thinking, and they say intelligent anticipation. Because as the Attorney General disclosed on NCN on the night of the 30th of April, these appointments to the judges are to be made shortly. Well, we are no way shortly, you know, because remember on New Year's Day, the president has said that he will meet shortly with members of the public. But I'm not sure the shortly is the word he used, but he gave the impression that he was to meet soon to discuss the traffic carnage. And I'm not aware that any such meeting has taken place 5 months or more down the road. So that is the reservation that I had. But again, let me say, you know, in terms of the release to the Guyana Times, I made a note here. Guyana Times is a government mouthpiece, like news room. I got to pause because there is newsroom and there is news source. There is newsroom, which is another mouthpiece of the government, and there is news source. News source is Gordon Mosley is news source, very reliable news outlet. So don't get mixed up with news source and newsroom. Newsroom is another mouthpiece that they feed a lot of information to. Do you recall sometime last year with the Sormars killing? Newsroom was able to play the confession video that the suspect in the Sormars killing gave. Newsroom. The confession video. This man, the police claim, made a confession which was video recorded. And Newsroom got that video recording to show. And when Newsroom ran the article, they made a statement to say that the wife of the suspect gave a statement to the police which they saw, and it contradicted what she was saying publicly on social media. So that is what we have. That is what we have. No professionalism in these bodies. No professionalism. So obviously somebody leaked the thing to Guyana Times because Guyana Times is a mouthpiece. They leak also from time to time to Newsroom, and that is what we have. And when I'm telling you these things, you can go back and check. The Sormars killing, video recorded, confession statement is given to Newsroom. A statement by the man's wife. This is without evidence here in the murder case, given to the man's wife, and the Newsroom can tell us, the public, that they saw the statement, and the statement contradicts what she has been saying publicly. What more you want? What more you want to hear? So that's what we're saying. And again, I said to you, don't get mixed up in Newsroom and news source. Newsroom is the mouthpiece. News source is my view, that news source, I said over and over, that when you come to these releases, from the time I see something from news source or Travis Chase, it's credible to me. I will read it and I will look at it. But some of the other rags that give releases and so on, I don't even bother with it. I don't even bother with it from most of the times. Most of the times, I don't bother. So yeah, they are given this release. They have given the release in the Sormars thing. So let me just tell you about that. Mr. Conway, do you want to say anything more about this issue?
Yeah, because I know you want your day in court, and you've been waiting because the alleged offense, this took place over 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago, you were charged, and I know you want to have your day in court, and you're not going to do like others. You're not going to rush to the DPP for the DPP null pros your matter. You're not going to take no null pros. You want persons to go in court and testify and go under rigorous cross-examination, as the case may be. That you want your day in court, and it appears though it's going to be delayed, and you're not going to take no null pros, Paul.
Well, at the end of the day, I agree. You know me well, my brother. At the end of the day, I know whatever time it takes, I am anxiously awaiting to clear my name. And you said 2 years, not 2 years, almost 3. The charges were instituted on the 19th day of May 2021. The offenses are alleged to have occurred in 2019, right? So it's the 19th of day. I remember these things very, very well, right? 19th day of May, those 3 charges were instituted. And on to now, almost 3 years down the road, you can't get go to no trial. And I say this. They say justice delayed is justice denied. And only denied to me. Let me be very clear and frank and professional about this. Not to me, but the person who is making the allegation would want to have their day too. I would think so. That the person who is making the allegation would want to have our day so that the matter is ventilated in court. I want to have my day too so that I can claim my name. So we talk about justice delayed is justice denied. Should be for both parties, and the public is a public component of this as well. So yes, that is what it is. Again, to those persons who reached out to me immediately following the program last Wednesday, I thank you for reminding me, because once you did so, immediately I made a note to say I can't allow this to pass. So if you felt that I wanted to be presumptuous and to say anything inappropriate about the process and the persons involved, no, that was not my intention. It's just to say that the fact that the Attorney General has said on his program that the acting chief magistrate before whom this matter is scheduled for trial on the 25th of June is likely to be appointed shortly as a High Court judge. My concern is that if that is done before the trial, it means it's going to be a further delay because some other magistrate would have to be assigned. I guess whoever is the new acting chief magistrate or confirmed chief magistrate will have to decide